Okay, so last week I gave you all my lore of how I became a digital nomad therapist. And today I want to talk to you about how I built a business, a thriving private practice that even let me become a digital nomad therapist to begin with. Because I get a lot of questions around like, how did I do this? How have I gotten clients? How did I set up a private practice where, I have this much freedom and flexibility? And so today I wanted to talk you through the different things I did that I think, looking back, I think I did that really set me up for success. Because I know you want to build a location independent private practice. You want to get clients while you're traveling the world, but still able to make money and still do, the meaningful work of therapy. But I feel like it can be so hard to know how to do that as a therapist. And there are a lot of people that are in my Instagram DMs. There's a lot of people I meet with that really don't even know where to get started. And so today I just wanted to talk through, what have I done looking back that I think set me up and that you can do as well? Because I know you want to get abroad, you don't want to be stuck in the United States, and building a private practice as a therapist is the way to get there. So the first thing that I was thinking of that I think really set me up for success was getting into spaces and consuming information around marketing, building a private practice, maybe business in general. Like, I still remember to this day, I was in my apartment in Alexandria, Virginia. I was in my doctorate and I was thinking about how I could not wait to start a private practice. I was feeling like really burnt out. I just feel like therapy grad school just does something to you. And you just like, it's really hard to not get burnt out from therapy grad school. Like, I was working at college counseling centers and I just was like, I want to build a private practice. Like, I want to work with people long term. Like, I know that's what I want to do. And I'm just like the type of person I feel like to really start researching and getting down rabbit holes. And so that's what I did. I still viscerally remember typing into my browser, private practice and therapy, and Dr. Marie Fang over at Private Practice Skills popped up. And I feel like at the time, like this was like what, maybe 2019. I feel like she was really the first person, or maybe 2020. I can't remember exactly. But I feel like she was like one of the very early people teaching how to open a private practice online. Now I feel like there's like 20 million. So it's like so many different voices. But back then, like there was not as much information. And I feel like she was one of the only people talking about it. So anyways, I remember finding her and devouring her content. And I think about it, like she really, the content, the guests she had on her YouTube channel, all of those things, like I just look back and they really set me up. Like they led me to other people. Like I'm thinking about Christy Platinga. Her business used to be Therapy SEO, but now is Place Digital. But she had interviewed her. She had talked about like not wanting to accept insurance and like the pros and cons of accepting insurance. She talked about marketing. She talked about all these things that you need to learn and know about when it comes to building a private practice. And so I feel like finding her and consuming her content just gave me the frame of mind I needed to start taking steps to building my private practice, because before then I had like literally no clue how to do it. I had no clue what marketing was. I had no clue about what it means to have a website, what makes a good website, all these different things. And so maybe even when I was learning about this stuff from her, I was watching her YouTube channel, I was just dreaming about the future. Like I wasn't even doing anything. Like I couldn't really do anything to build a private practice. But I think just starting to consume that information and starting to consume that content just really set me up so that when I did graduate and, I did graduate and then I got licensed, like I was ready. Like I kind of had the frame of mind of what I needed to do to build a successful private practice. And I was ready to go. And so that is like one of the best tips I can give anyone, especially I know a lot of people are maybe in grad school who reach out to me or maybe are pre-licensed and they know they want to build a private practice that allows them to go abroad. Maybe that's you. And so my biggest recommendation is to start learning. Go watch Dr. Marie Fang, watch my previous YouTube videos, just start consuming content around building a private practice and what it means to have a successful business. Start learning about marketing. Those things, those skills are so invaluable. And I think it just like takes time to learn them and just takes time to like wrap your mind around them. So the more you really start learning and getting into those spaces and putting yourself in those spaces where people are talking about it, I think the better you will be when it comes to building a private practice. Because there are so many people who come to me who have literally no clue what it means to market. Like they just don't even want to market. They don't think they need to market. They don't have a website or, you know, all these different things. And I think a part of that is because they're not in spaces where people are talking about building a private practice. And so anyways, that is one of my number one tips is start getting into those spaces, start getting into those communities, start building villages. Like, I think there's even a lot of people who I know, like who reach out to me. There's honestly, funny enough, like a lot of social workers who end up wanting to become digital nomad therapists. Like, I don't know why, but I feel like just a lot of social workers end up reaching out to me. And I feel like social workers in particular have a really, like you have a tough barrier of entry because there's so many different like rules and social norms and just like, I don't know, I just kind of think toxic beliefs in the social work world around starting a private practice. Like I was talking to a therapist who has become my friend, shout out Haley at Sensitive Therapist. I can't remember what her hashtag is, but she's on Instagram. I love her. Check her out if you like EMDR and want to learn more about EMDR and IFS. But she was talking about how when she started a private practice, like one of her social work mentors were like, that's so selfish to go into private practice. And so anyways, this is a tangent, but I feel like if you're in spaces where private practice or running a business is outlandish or is just not a part of the culture or like it isn't a part of people's lives, I think it is so important for you in particular to start getting into these spaces. Start making friends with people who are in private practice. Get to know other private practice therapists. Follow these business coaches for therapists. Obviously, be careful because I think there's, there can be some spammy people out there just wanting to get your money or like not providing good content. But, just start learning, start consuming, start thinking for yourself around private practice in a business. Start developing your business mindset. I feel like I'm yapping so much about this, but I think it's just because it's so important to this process of building a business. Okay. So kind of piggybacking on that, but very similar. But the second point I have is start getting support and not relying on your own to figure it out. When I had started my private practice, obviously I had said that I was consuming a lot of Dr. Marie Fang's videos, but when I graduated and I was studying for the EPPP, which is the license exam for psychologists, and I knew I wanted to go into private practice, even before I was licensed, I started looking into what I needed to do to have a private practice. And one of the number one things is building a website. And so I started getting support around that. I had bought this like DIY course from Walker Strategy Company and over from Anna Walker. I don't think she offers the course that I had bought back then, but I had bought her course on how to write website copy. I had started working with Christy Platinga over at Therapy SEO. Like I said, it's Place Digital. She also had this consulting where, you could do her course and then get 6 one-to-one consulting sessions with her on implementing it rather than doing her like group program. And so I had paid like $3,000 to do that. I had learned how to write what goes into developing a website. I had bought a template instead of trying to do it all from scratch myself. There was just a lot of different things that I had invested in my business early on. And instead of just like doing it myself or I don't know, I guess just doing it my own way, Like, I feel like a lot of us try to reinvent the wheel and just do it our own way rather than learning from the people that come before us or learning from people who are experts in their field, like websites or SEO or niching down, like whatever. And so, yeah, I feel like that really set me apart from, I think, a lot of other therapists that I knew. And I think sets me apart from other therapists now. Like, digital nomad therapist as a business is successful because I get help from coaches. Like, I literally have had so many different business coaches. I've invested in different programs. Like, I really try to learn and get help from people who know more than me. And yes, I haven't made some bad investments because not everybody is who they say they are when they're marketing to you. So I have had a couple of bad eggs in that batch, in my little basket. But in general, I would not be as successful as I am if I didn't get support. And I think this is something that really holds therapists back because we don't get support. You might be thinking, well, I'm not far enough along to get support. I'm not making enough money to get support. I want to go abroad, but I don't have enough money to invest in helping develop my website, or I don't have enough money to help get coaching or whatever. And I think sometimes that is true. But I also think it really does take money to make money sometimes, And not all of us, I think, are privileged enough to maybe invest in business. But I have definitely invested money before I could probably financially feasibly do so. Now, I feel like I don't want to get myself in trouble. Do not go into debt, or don't go paying $15,000 for SEO, or don't go paying $15,000 for a business coach. There is support you can get that can match where you are. Like, for me, when I had started out, I didn't pay someone to do custom branding on my website. I didn't pay someone to write my website copy. I had purchased a course that talked me through how to do it myself, but that's still getting support, right? Like, I'm not just trying to write my website copy by myself, Like, I had gotten support at the level that I could afford at the time. So don't come at me saying, I don't have enough money to invest in $15,000 SEO services, which, P.S., do not invest $15,000 in SEO services. That's an aside. Don't spend $15,000 on a branded website. You do not need that as a therapist. The point of what I'm saying, essentially, is getting support goes a really long way. And I think that is what set me up, is that I have taken the risk of getting support earlier than maybe other people do. Okay, I've already touched on this a bit, but the third thing that I think I did is that when I was consuming all of this information and learning about businesses and learning about websites and learning about marketing, I learned about the importance of niching down. And I think that really also set me up for a successful business, a successful private practice where I was getting clients reaching out to me. It's because I niched down and I really got a sense of who I was talking to, and I spoke directly to them on my website. And I know there's a lot of therapists who are really worried about niching down. They don't want to pigeonhole themselves, but niching down is just very important. I probably will have a podcast in and of itself all about niching because I think it is so incredibly important. Because one of the most important things about marketing and business is your messaging, is being able to speak to a person and to be able to communicate to them that you can help them, communicate to them that your business and your services are for them and that it will help solve a problem. And as a therapist, obviously, we could talk to the general masses about how mental health is important, or that you help people heal. But that isn't what motivates people to reach out to a therapist to pay $200+ an hour. That's just not. People need to see that you are speaking directly to them, that you are meant for them, that you will help them in what they want help with. And I think really the only way to do that is niching down. You can't speak to everyone and be able to do those things. So I will definitely be talking about this more because niching down is so incredibly important. And if you're, I don't know how into my universe, digital nomad therapist universe you are, but I ran a Nomad Practice Accelerator. And in there, I had only had 1 week talking about marketing, but I learned that marketing is so important and that is really what you guys are needing. Those of you who want to go abroad and build a private practice, learning marketing, I think, is something that you really need and is a pain point for you guys. Like how to do it, how to talk about it, how to attract virtual clients in today's 2026 day and age. But anyways, I had it as the Nomad Practice Accelerator, but now I'm transitioning it to a different container because that was 8 weeks. And now I'm transitioning it to 12-month membership, the Out of Office Therapist Village. And why I'm doing that is because I want to be able to teach you everything you need to know about building or growing a private practice that allows you to go abroad, like all of the practical things like the legal foundations, taxes, business systems you need that help you run a US based business while you're not in the United States. But one of the biggest things that I also wanted to teach you was how to get clients while you're traveling abroad. And this membership will allow me to provide support on teaching you marketing and helping you set up an online marketing system. But like right now, at the time I'm recording this, it's the summer, it's June 17th, 2026. I'm opening it up to the public in August, but right now the people in the accelerator, I let them in early. So they're in the membership now. Some of them, I think like 8 or 9 of them continued on. And so that's what I'm doing this summer is teaching them the marketing piece so that then I can teach people when they come in August. But that's where we're starting is niching down. And everyone is like, oh my God, this is so helpful. I didn't even think about this. Like, it's so important, you guys. Niching down is so important, and understanding the words that your ideal client is using is just so important. So know that if this is something that feels super overwhelming and you want to learn how to do this and you don't want to reinvent the wheel, definitely consider the Out of Office Therapist Village. In the description below, I'll include the waitlist link so you can join the waitlist and you'll get emails teaching you more about the offer to see if it's a right fit for you. But just know that if you want to build a location independent private practice, you don't have to do it alone. You can have other therapists walking beside you, and you can have me helping teach you. But yeah, that's just a shameless plug. But anyways, so the fourth thing, which I feel like I've talked about ad nauseum, but it deserves its own thing, is website copy. Now, I think a lot of times, I think the branding of a website is really important. Having a beautiful website is very important because you want to communicate that you have high quality services, and branding, like your logo, the colors, the way that your website looks is very important to that. But I think the thing that a lot of therapists get wrong is not focusing on their website copy. And when I say website copy, I mean the words that you are using on your website. That is what it's called in marketing terms, is website copy. And if you don't have good website copy, and what good website copy is it's speaking to a direct person, you're speaking to their pain points, you're speaking to their desires, you're speaking to their fears, you're speaking to how you help them specifically, how your process works, how they can get started with you. What does that process look like? Talking about all those things is incredibly important. Like having clear call to actions on your website, making it very clear how to get in touch with you, all those different things. And a lot of therapists, a lot of you reach out to me on Instagram, and I look at your websites and I don't even know who you serve. You maybe used ChatGPT. You talk about yourself more than the person. Like website copy should be about your ideal client. That is who you should be speaking to. You should not be talking about yourself. And so anyway, I think that is something that I did early on was, like I said, I had invested in that Walker strategy course, and that really changed the game for me. Like I would have clients reaching out to me, or potential clients being like, that spoke directly to me. Like it was like you were taking the words outside of my head. Like that is what you want. Okay, you want people coming to you being like, wow, like your website was it was like you were talking exactly to me. That is how you get people to reach out wanting therapy with you. That is how you do it. And that's how I did it. And that's how I continue to do it. And so do not sleep on website copy. Do not use ChatGPT for website copy. Obviously, hiring a copywriter is expensive and it might not be where you're at. But that is something that we will be talking about in the village. Is I have a copywriter friend who developed a template for you with some training modules, and is something I will be specifically having curriculum on, is how to write good website copy that will attract private paid clients who are willing to see you virtually. And so if that's something you want support on, like I said, join the village. That is exactly what I'm going to be helping people with. But if the village isn't the right fit for you, definitely start learning how to write good website copy. Walker Strategy Company has a course. I mean, I think it's a little bit pricier than when I first started. It was like a $300 course when I did it back in 2021. I think she now has it it's like 1,700 or something like that. But she might have other resources, and there might be other people who have resources. And so just don't sleep on website copy. Learn about it. I know if you are on a tight budget, you might have to do a little bit more heavy lifting when it comes to learning how to do it. But I promise you, the amount of time and energy and money you invest in your website copy will really help you. You will have an incredible return on interest, ROI. That's a business term you should keep in mind because that's important. Okay, the fifth thing that I have done that set me up for success to build a location independent private practice is SEO, aka search engine optimization. Now, a lot of you have no clue what this is, so I'm just going to give a little blurb about what it is. But if you do know it, sorry that you have to listen to this. But essentially, search engine optimization is taking your website and doing certain things on your website, like the website copy. Like there are certain things on your website copy you want to have. There are certain things on the back end of your website that you want that essentially Google likes and search engines like. And if a search engine likes your website and trusts your website, trusting, that's an important piece, and it trusts your website, it will start ranking your website higher up on searches. So when someone searches therapist in Arlington, Virginia, or therapist in San Francisco, California, if Google or some other search engine likes your website and you rank high enough, you could show up on the first page and clients will find you. And that is the goal of SEO, is to show up on the first page so that when people are searching like anxiety therapist in Virginia, or anxiety therapist in Arlington, or anxiety therapist in New York City, whatever, Manhattan, your website will show up, and that's how you can get clients. And SEO is such a wonderful way for digital nomad therapists to market themselves, because obviously you're not in a local community. And so going to in-person marketing events or trying to schedule meetups with therapists when you're in a completely different time zone can become a really huge headache. And so I set up SEO from the foundation of my private practice, and 99% of the clients who reach out to me find me through Google. So it is the thing that I did from the start of my practice, even when I was in person, but it is the thing that I think really set me up for success in terms of being able to transition to a private practice that let me be anywhere in the world while still getting clients. And this is just the same shameless plug, I will also be teaching in the village, is how to set up your website for SEO, because that is so important. Marketing and getting clients is so important to a business. And a lot of you are so afraid that if you go abroad, you'll not be able to get more clients. And SEO is the way to get clients while you're living abroad. And so do not sleep on SEO. SEO is incredible. That's why I teach it. That's why I recommend it. But if you want to build an location independent private practice, definitely look into SEO. That is the thing. When people ask how you did it, how do you get clients? I'm like, SEO, baby, SEO. SEO. Like literally, I could scream it from the rooftops because SEO is just incredible. And I think even if you aren't a location independent private practice, or maybe you're not sure if you want to go abroad or not, still, trust me, invest in SEO. It does take time. I will say that. That is the one caveat, is it's not something immediate. But marketing takes time. I was just listening to a marketing video where the lady was talking about, Christy Platinga, actually. She was talking about how if you should not start marketing when you need clients, because there's always a lag. It takes time for your marketing systems to work. And so you should be marketing well before you think you need clients. And so anyways, SEO is something that takes maybe 3 to 6 to 12 months to really start generating enough leads, because it just takes time for Google to trust your website. But once you do, it is incredible, and you can get clients reaching out to you without having to meet with other therapists. But I also think like any marketing strategy takes work. You just need to figure out which one works for you. Like if you like in-person networking, you can't just meet with one therapist and expect them to refer you clients. You have to meet with a ton of therapists. Therapists who get clients from other therapists, so they have a really good networking system, meet with therapists every single week. They're constantly meeting with new therapists. They're constantly building relationships. They meet a therapist they like and it's a good niche and it's a good, relationship. They continue to foster that relationship. I think a lot of therapists, maybe you fall into this, you want marketing to be like this one and done thing. Like you set up a website and that's it. You should get clients. No, that is not how business works. And so, SEO takes time and a lot of people can feel like it's like overwhelming and confusing. But honestly, that's just marketing. And it doesn't mean that it's a bad thing. Marketing can be fun. So once again, I digress because this ADHD girly loves to go on little tangents. But I will say, the last thing that I feel like I did to really set me up to have a thriving location independent private practice is just honestly providing very good care to clients and getting support like in supervision and getting supervision around transitioning from in-person to virtual or getting supervision just for ongoing stuff that comes up with clients. Therapy is complicated and I have a whole ass doctorate in therapy, right? And I have been in private practice for 5 years now, but I still regularly, every single week, I meet with my supervisor to talk about my clients. And honestly, like I don't even really need to market myself. Like I have a website, I have SEO set up for my website, but I don't even accept new clients because I have clients that I've been seeing for years and I will continue to see. And I just don't need a ton of new clients reaching out to me because the clients I do have, I continue working with. I think that a lot of times therapists, like if you're not really investing in your craft as a therapist and you have a lot of clients coming in, but a lot of those clients leave, which I will say is natural. There is some natural part of like, I would say like for every 5 clients that I see, only like 1 or 2 stay with me long term. I'd say 1 or 2 only stay for 1 session at a time. And then I'd say 1 or 2 stay for maybe like 8 to 12 sessions and then leave. But 1 to 2 people, I would say, stay for a long time because, it's the right fit. So don't get bogged down that if you're at the beginning of your practice and it just takes time to build a consistent caseload. Like I would say it took me a little bit of time to build that foundation of clients that continue to stay. So it's natural that some people leave. I don't want you to leave this podcast thinking, oh my God, like these clients aren't staying. But I think that if you're like a year or 2 in and you don't have a good base of clients that continue to regularly see you, maybe that's a part of your niche in the way that you work with people, and that's fine. If you work with kids or you work with some short-term model. But in general, I think that if you are in private practice and you provide ongoing support with clients and they're regularly leaving before treatment is done, that is something you should do is get supervision because it is very hard to run a business if you don't have retention. Right? Like retention is a huge business strategy that all businesses, I think, try to focus on. Obviously, you want reoccurring customers. Every business wants that, not just therapy clients. And so as a therapist, one of the ways that you can help retention is getting supervision. But it's also providing high quality care, making sure that you're showing up to sessions on time, not being late, making sure you're not meeting from your bed. Like if you're providing virtual care, I think that's even more important because nowadays I think a lot of people are like super jaded when it comes to online therapy because of like BetterHelp and just like during the pandemic, like there's just a lot of like really shady virtual therapists who like let their family members come into session or like are taking sessions from their car or are eating during session, like just doing random shit. Or like clearly texting on their phone or, whatever. I think they're just not providing good quality care and they're not going to be able to keep clients. And they also make a bad rap for virtual therapists in general. But if you want to be a virtual therapist, you need to provide good quality care. You need to show up on time. You need to reduce distractions. You need to treat it as if you are in person. You shouldn't be in your bed, and these are obviously things that I talk about in the village of walking you through like how to do that when you're maybe meeting with clients from Airbnb or whatever, how to navigate this. But these are the things that I talk about with my villagers in the out of office therapist village. But I'm sharing with you now because I think it's so important. Providing high quality care really goes a long way. Caring about your clients, which I'm sure you do. I'm sure you really do care about your clients. I'm not trying to insinuate that you don't. But I think there are certain things that go a long way. Like obviously cancel when you're sick, but if you're canceling clients all the time, that is a problem. If you are late to clients all the time, that is a problem. And that will reduce your retention. People won't want to continue seeing you. If you want a private pay practice, you need to provide high quality care. Like people aren't going to be paying out of pocket for a therapist who, is clearly distracted or is meeting from their bed, right? You need to have professionalism. You need to provide high quality care. So that is another thing that I really focus on and, is why I invest in supervision, even though I've been a therapist for over, I think, almost 13 years now. That's why I continue to learn about how to provide good customer service, right? Like it is so important. Obviously, we're not perfect and I'm not perfect at it. Like if there's a client that I have that's listening to this, like I'm sure they're like, oh, I mean, I think they probably do know that I value and care about them, but like, I'm not perfect, but I really try hard to really take what I'm doing very seriously. So even though I'm traveling the world and living my best life, I still am very serious about the care that I'm providing my clients, and I don't let my travels get in the way of that. And there is a possibility of managing both. Like you can have a wonderful life traveling the world and you can provide very high quality, meaningful care and therapy to clients. And so, like I said before, if you know in your bones that you are meant to go abroad, but you're not sure where to start when it comes to building a private practice, you're not sure how to get clients, how to talk to clients, what to do about taxes, you're really worried about losing your license and making some mistake, the Out of Office Therapist Village is for you. It is made for you. It is made to help you get the support and the handholding you need from me and from other therapists in the village to help you achieve your goal of caring about your life while also caring for the lives of your clients. So, like I said, the description is in the link below, or the description is in the link below. What? Wow. Have I finished my coffee? I don't know. But the waitlist to join the waitlist is in the link below. If you're listening to this at some other time and not now, doors open August 3rd. And so if you're listening to this before August 3rd, definitely get on the waitlist because you get $500 off when doors open. And there's a couple of other perks. But then if you're listening to this in the future, you can get on the waitlist and learn when the new doors open. Obviously that link will give you all the information about all those things. And then if you have questions or you want to know more about the program or about becoming a digital nomad therapist, feel free to schedule a call with me. I can learn more about your situation and it can provide more support around what direction you need. Is there support I can offer you? Is there a direction that I can point you? You don't have to do this alone. Yeah, let me know. I love to hear from you guys. But I am going to end it here and I'll look forward to chatting with you guys in the next episode. Okay, bye.